Hi, in this video I compare the Synergy Diezel VH4 preamp module to the legendary amp it's based on. First of all, if you're not interested in the details and just want to hear the sound samples, or you have a TikTok attention span, or the strikingly handsome face of mine is just too distracting for you, there's timestamps in the description below. Feel free to use them to skip to the parts you're interested in. It's okay, I put them there specially for you, because I want to talk about Synergy modules and this test I've planned for a few minutes first. Synergy modules. When these first came out, they really put me in a frenzy that I hadn't felt since I was about 10 and Pokemon cards came out. And much like Pokemon cards, I had to catch them all. I had foolishly convinced myself that owning these modules would satisfy the desire for owning cool and expensive boutique amplifiers. But that backfired catastrophically. In fact, I wanted them even more, and as a result I've been able to compare a few of these modules to the amps they were based on this channel. And the results have been kind of varied. While some modules really nailed the amps they're based on, others didn't really blow me away. And I'm excited to find out where this falls on that spectrum. But I enjoy playing this by itself, so that is a good sign. Here's what I intend to do. First of all, I want to put this module in a SYN1 module carrier and connect it to the Diezel VH4 amp via 4-cable method. Using this setup, I will be able to use the channels of the module as additional channels of the amp. So both the amp and the module will be using the same power amp. And at this point you might be thinking, John, that's dumb and you're stupid. Why would I use a Synergy Diezel VH4 module if I have the actual amp? That makes no sense at all. And that is a fair point, and in a real-world application this doesn't really make a lot of sense. However, I find that for a testing application it does, because you see, this is merely a preamp. And for the beautiful noise that a preamp makes to reach our ear holes, it needs to go through a power amp and a cab and the rest of the signal chain. Anyway, power amps. A lot of guitarists tend to think of power amps just as the guy that does the heavy lifting and just makes the signal louder. But from my previous tests and such videos as those that Kyle Bull made, I know that power amps impart quite a tonal coloration. So depending on whichever power amp you pair up with this preamp, you might end up with a rig that very much sounds like a Diezel VH4, or a rig that very much doesn't sound like a Diezel VH4. So that's why I'm going to test in that configuration first. I'll be comparing the channels of the module with the channels 3 and 4 of the amp, with and without a boost. And I'll be using my favorite overdrive pedal at the moment, which is the fantastic and very available Lichtlaerm Audio, the King in Yellow, down here on the floor in front of me. And after that, I will probably be testing the module with a few selected settings using 1 or 2 different power amps to see how that affects the sound. Okay, for this next part, I've got the module in the Syn 1, which is going into the KSR PA50 that I have. Both the VH4 and the KSR are loaded with JJKT77s, if that is of interest to you. I haven't really changed the settings of the module. I've only adjusted the KSR Power Amp to sound as close as I can get to the VH4 amp. So, We're going to check out channel 3 and the Blue Channel, both with and without a boost, and then we'll move on to another power amp. Alright, I've put the module in my modified Randall RM100, which is running JJ6L6s. The Diezel is running JJKD77s. I've adjusted the volumes a bit on the module, and that's about it. The EQ is the same. Let's compare the blue mode on the module to channel 3 of the Diezel. So, yes, that was a Mayones Duvell I was playing. I've had that guitar for about 8 years, and for about 7 years I've been waiting for John Brown of Monuments to switch guitar brands, so I can play that thing in public without feeling super awkward, but just regular awkward. And secondly, yes, that was my T-thermos on the amp in the first section there because I'm stupid. As for the module, I learned once again that power amps matter, duh. It sounded pretty different with each power amp. But with the VH4 amps power amp, I think it sounded and felt pretty close. In general, I feel that the module deserves the VH4 badge. In my opinion, it represents the Diezel sound and feel much better than the Herbert module, for example. I wasn't super happy with that, but it's not a total bullseye like the Powerball module was, for example. The amp sounds a little brighter and a little more direct. And you may have noticed that on the module's EQ, the mids and the highs were set higher than on the amp because I tried to get it to sound the same as the amp, but the EQ doesn't seem to affect the frequencies I wanted as much as I wanted, because turn the highs and the mids up any higher and the module ends up sounding rather abrasive and honky. It also feels a little different. The notes on the amp have a kind of a bloom to them, an impact almost. The amp has a transient response that I find very hard to describe, but it feels a little more alive, it feels a bit more attacky than the module. More so without an OD boost than with an OD boost. It's less noticeable with an OD, and the VH4 is an amp that I generally wouldn't play without an OD. Basically, the OD pedal's always on when I play the VH4 amp. I have to say one thing though, that I'm being very nitpicking here. I usually wait until I've edited the playthrough section before I film these final thought sections, and I did so this time as well, and I'm happy I did, because the thing I just described, the different feel and sound, you can hear it in the playthrough, but it was much more noticeable to me while I was playing it, and I'm not sure I would have picked up on that difference if I hadn't switched back and forth while playing rapidly. So yeah, I think the VH4 module is a good module. Very good module, in fact. It's probably your best option if you want the Diezel VH4 sound without going digital, the modeling route or so. Or maybe it isn't. I have this here too, and I will make a video on that later. I was very impressed with the Diezel Herbert preamp pedal, which surprisingly I found better than the Synergy module, so I'm curious to find out how the pedal compares there. What did you guys think of the module? Please let me know in the comments. I'm always curious to know what you guys think. And yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, I've got a few more Synergy videos. You might want to check them out. Maybe that's for you. Other than that, I'll be back soon with more amp and definitely more speaker videos. And I'd be stoked if you stuck around for those. Thanks for watching. Bye!